Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com, and this is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, March 18th through March 22nd. What we like to do on these videos is take a look at some things that we need to be ready for the week ahead, whether it be economic information, Fed speak, things like that, what earnings are coming out. We like to look at what was the market action on Friday. We look at some of the top sectors in the S&P 500. We go through some of the indexes charts. We look at some of your best and worst stocks for the week. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the markets and some of the action from Friday first. And we'll go ahead and do that. I'll bring that down. Let's go ahead and look at the heat map for Friday. So Facebook with the outages, executives leaving. Facebook was one of your worst performing stocks on Friday in the red. Most of the other stocks were green, a nice broad-based rally there. Microsoft was up. The banks got some buying. Bank America was down about 0.5%. Amazon was up almost was up a 1.5% on the day on Friday. Intel had a very good day on Friday, and the semis had a very good day on Friday. Overall, for the Dow Jones was up 139 points. The Nasdaq was up 58 points. The S&P 500 was up 14 points on the day. The markets gained for the week as the S&P powered pushes up above that resistance area that everybody's been talking about. We'll take a better look at that in a moment on the chart. The S&P 500 possibly breaking out of a long-term consolidation pattern here. So here's your heat map from Friday. Like I said, a pretty broad-based rally. Even Apple was up 1.33% on the day. Some of your top sectors for the week, we had the OIH, the oil services sector, up almost 6% on the week. That's names such as Rig, Schlumberger, Halliburton, all in that ETF, the OIH. The SMH had a very nice day on Friday, up almost 3% on the day for the SMH, up over 5% for the week. The IBB was plus 5% for the week. The marijuana ETF was up almost 5% for the week. Oil had a very strong week. Light sweet crude oil up over 4% for the week. The software portfolio ETF, the PSJ, was up over 4% for the week. The Qs were rising 4% for the week. USO, the ETF for light sweet crude oil, was up 4% for the week. Solar, TAN, TAN, the solar ETF was up 3.5% for the week. KWEB, the China Internet ETF, was up a little under 3.5%. Hack, the cybersecurity ETF, was up 3.33% for the week. Even Robo was up this week 3%. IGV was up this week. The software index was up over 3% for the week. To the downside, as you can see, more volatility came out of the markets here. For the week, the VIX was down almost 20%. We now have under a 13 handle on the VIX. Nat gas was down 2% for the week. Bond yields were down for the week. So the yields are moving down. The dollar was down a little bit under 1%, about 0.75%. Silver down fractionally, and JNUG was down fractionally for the week. Gold was up fractionally for the week. The TLT up fractionally for the week. As you can see, this visual on the weekly sector performance, everybody was green this week. All sectors green. Obviously, some sectors stronger than others. The XLK was up nicely for the week. We'll go ahead and take a look at that closer. So for our SPY sectors, we had the XOP was up 6% for the week. That's the oil and gas exploration and production ETF. The XBI, the biotech ETF, was up a little under 6% for the week. The XLK, the technology sector, up about 4.5% for the week. The XSW, which is the software services ETF, up over 3.5% for the week. The XLV was also up for the week. The healthcare sector up about almost 3% on the week. The fear and greed index here, we have it at 65 now, so we are leaning a little more towards greed. But as I said, the markets with that VIX, with a 12 handle on the VIX, very complacent right now. So here's your fear and greed index at 65. This courtesy of CNN Money, CNN Business. Let's go ahead and look at some of the markets. This is the NASDAQ composite, currently at 7,688. A nice push up coming out of this consolidation above the 200 moving average here, above the 50. If we go ahead and look at it on the weekly chart here for the NASDAQ composite, we're holding above the 50 SMA on the weekly, holding above the 34 SMA also, the purple dotted line you see here. So a nice push up for this week for the bulls. If we go ahead and look at the Dow Jones industrial average, you see we came down to about that 34 SMA only last week to bounce off that 10 SMA here. So a nice push, nice recovery by the bulls. If you want to look at it, the Dow Jones 30, same thing. We'll go ahead and look at it on the daily chart also. Here's our Dow Jones. So we got the head, the shoulders here. We are above the head and the shoulders. We have that 26,000 level up ahead. Boeing held the Dow Jones back. We'll get more into that in a moment. We are above the 200 SMA on the Dow, and we do have a rising 50 SMA on the Dow Jones. We'll look at some other markets also. Let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500. And as you can see, this was the resistance area that everybody has been talking about, around that 281, 282 area. So we did close above that on the S&P 500. Now the SPY went ex-dividend on Friday for the SPY. So that is a little bit of a laggard here because they did go ex-dividend on Friday. That's why I'm showing you the SPX 500, the S&P 500. That's the pure cash ETF, and we did get up over that resistance. So everybody that was had lost on this sell-off here is now made whole. Now let's see if we want to continue pushing up to the highs here on the SPX. The Qs themselves holding above the 200 SMA, coming up to this 180 area, rising 50 SMA there. Gold this week, still below the 50 SMA, had some trouble with it on the GLD and remains below the 20 SMA on our daily chart for gold. We'll go ahead and look at the IYT, the transports. After moving down for about 9 weeks in a row, we got a bounce right around the 50 SMA and have recovered some of those losses in the transport stocks, but we are below the 20 SMA here, still remain below a flat 200 SMA on the transports. Now, the OIH had a very good week this week, but as you can see here, we're still below the 100 SMA on the OIH. Such names as Schlumberger, Halliburton, and also Rig are in that sector. BHGE, Baker Hughes having a good week this week and a good day on Friday. Still remains under the 200 SMA, also part of the OIH. Some sectors that were lagging, we have the micro caps still in this lagging mode. They still remain under the 200 SMA, kind of a declining 200 SMA, but a rising 50 SMA. So kind of in this limbo right now on the micro caps, the IWC. As far as the IWM, another laggard group sector remains below a flat 200 SMA, holding above the 5 EMA and the 10 SMA, but cannot get back above or has not gotten back above the 20 SMA yet on the IWM. So a little bit of a concern there on the IWM as it is lagging here with those with the small caps, the Russell 2000. Nice recovery here for the IBB right off the 50 SMA, and we've been up 1, 2, 3, 3, about 5 days in a row. We have that 115, 116 area we're coming up to on the IBB, but we are holding above the 5 EMA, the yellow dotted line you see here, the 10 SMA and the 20. We have a flat 200 SMA and a rising 50 SMA. So the IBB does look bullish at this moment. We'll go ahead and take a look at the XBI. For the biotechs, we're holding above the 200 SMA, holding above the fast moving averages here, a rising 50 SMA. So XBI looks very good, very bullish. We do have a recent high on the XBI up there at about $93. We're currently at 91.27. A recent high was 92.10. So we need to get back over that 92 area, and then maybe we can take a move back up to 93 and beyond. Let's get and look at the weekly chart for the XBI. As you can see, they pulled that back down to about the $85 level. Nice recovery by the bulls here this week as we are back over the 50 SMA on the XBI. Here's our 5-minute intraday chart of the SPY. As you can see, the week before we were selling off. Here's our recovery. The bulls did hold that Friday, 272.50. They started moving us up, and then when the week opened, it started up on Monday with a gap up on Monday on the 11th of March. As you can see, we were up ever since that Friday turnaround. We got all the way back up to 282.50 area and then pulled back from there. Later on in the week on Friday, we got right back up to that 282.50 area, and then we pulled back into the close on Friday. Kind of stayed flat in the after hours on Friday. Best stocks and worst stocks for the week that passed. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with our worst stocks for the week. Some that I was looking at, some that had news that moved them down. Here we'll start with Roku, down about 12% on the week. Roku had a bunch of about 2 price target decreases on Roku, so the stock dropped about 12% on the week for Roku. Boeing, all the news that transpired there was down 10% for the week after that deadly plane crash and also software issues with the 737s. So Boeing hits our worst stock for the week, down 10% on our list. Here came out with earnings. This stock dropped 14% for the week. Tesla down this week after releasing Model Y. Stock dropped 3% for the week. If you look at this weekly chart, on Tesla, it does like to make bounces around that 200 SMA. Looks like that would be around that 250, 245 area for Tesla. Maybe some more downside to come, or it could possibly bounce around this area, the 200 SMA on the weekly chart. So keep that, line that on your chart. DKS had earnings this week. This stock dropped 10% for the week on DKS, poor earnings, and sales, same-store sales, not good at DKS. Dollar General had earnings this week, and this stock dropped 4% for the week at Dollar General. CLDR over in the software application space dropped 16% after they announced their earnings this past week. That stock dropped. Facebook having a pullback week, down about 2% on Facebook for the week. Executive shakeout there. Outages transpired at Facebook, but only down about 2% for the week. CHFS, this stock took a hit, down 17% for the week on medical devices stock, down 17%. UXIN, a China name, dropped 23% for the week. ZFGN also dropping this week. A biotech name dropping 37% for the week. Some of our best stocks for the week that passed, we had KEG Oil Services up 85% for the week on KEG. Torch, a small little oil company, climbing 21% this week. GH Diagnostic and Research, this stock jumped jumped 56% for the week. Yeti had a very strong week. This stock was up 24% for the week. CFMS, this stock climbing 55% for the week on CFMS. CVRS also moving up this week. The medical devices space was very strong this week, up 41% on this name. Over in the solar sector, FSLR moved up about 5% for the week. VVPR had a nice week, up 45% for the week. SPWR, SunPower climbing about 3% for the week there. Vera Bradley had earnings come out. This stock moved up 38% for the week. Domo had a very strong earnings report, and this stock moved up 34% for the week. ATOS got FDA permitted use of one of its products on ATOS, diagnostics and research stock, up 134% for the week on ATOS. MRO had a very nice week, up 6% for the week. DO, Diamond Offshore Drilling, up 16% for the week. NE had a very nice week, up 9% this week. MPO had a strong week, up 25% for the week. And another oil name, CRC, climbing 23% for the week. California Resources Corporation there. SFIX came out with earnings this week. Stock pushed its way up 25% for the week for Stitch Fix. Cara had a very strong earnings report. This stock moving up 11%. MOMO, a China name, their earnings came out. Stock up 17.5% for the week. AKTX, they're going to commence with their stem cell research on AKTX. This stock up 123% on the week. AMAT and a lot of the semiconductor names were very strong. The SMH having a very good week. AMAT was up 7% for the week on AMAT. NVIDIA had a strong week, up 13% on NVIDIA. AVGO, whose earnings came out on Thursday, this stock moved up 10% for the week. LRCX, we actually traded this one in the service. We got a beautiful trade out of LRCX on Friday. This stock jumped 8% for the week on this semiconductor name. Over in the cannabis sector, ACB was your big winner for the week, up 24% on the week. Nelson Peltz getting involved in that one. PYX, a tobacco stock, but in the cannabis space, was up 19% on the week for PYX. SWCH had earnings. This stock jumped up 32% for the week. Snap got upgraded this week. Stock moved up 18% for the week. MDB in the software application space, up 35% for the week on this name. Strong earnings there, moving that stock up. SLNO, we got a recommendation to for continuation of its phase 3 for SLNO. The stock jumped 79% for the week. We traded this one on Friday. We got some real nice trades out of this one on SLNO. A very strong week there. GLBS, a shipper, had a strong week, up 27% there. HYRE, as Lyft and Uber were talking about their IPOs, and so HYRE moved up 44%. DCAR also climbing this week, up 39% for the week. Let's go ahead and look at some of the news that came out Friday after the markets closed, courtesy of the Trade Exchange News Service. Amgen announces new fourth-year outcome study. So Amgen had some news after the bell on Friday. REGN had some news. You can read that for yourself if you pause the video. PEGA also with some news out after the bell on Friday. ERPT announces underwriters' full exercise of option of all purchase additional shares for EPRT. Some other news that came out: OGEN announces enrollment of 60th patient in clinical trial. OGEN. So this is an under $1 name that was moving up after hours. Most likely will be on my stocks to watch list video. That'll be out in my next video. Cara came out with a 300 million shelf on Cara, CARA. And then you also had STML with a 250 million shelf coming out after the bell on Friday. Some of your top insider purchases that hit the tape was Fizz, DFRG, ESPR, DAVE, ACRE, TTS, and you can read the rest there for yourself. Some of your top insider purchases that came out after hours on Friday. So that's the news courtesy of the Trade Exchange. Some of the news that came out Friday after the bell. All right, so for the week ahead, some of the things that we have to be aware of: we still have the China trade talks going on between China, the U.S., and President Trump. We have a 12 handle right now on the VIX. China added more to its stimulus. SMH was very strong. The IWM not participating right now. The XLF currently is still below the 200 SMA. The XLK was very strong, so that's some of the things that we'll see if continue for the week ahead. Some of the news events and some of your economic information courtesy of the Trade Exchange calendar here. We have the FOMC meeting beginning on Tuesday. The announcement comes out on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, so we'll see if the Fed is going to raise rates. Most likely not. The Fed chair presser, the interview, comes out at 2:30. So at 2 o'clock, we get the announcement, and then at 2:30, he takes questions. And then for the rest of the week, it's pretty straightforward economic information. We do get some economic numbers coming out from Japan on Thursday night. We have some Fed speak at 9:30 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. Shouldn't affect our markets too much that day on Friday. Pretty straightforward as far as your economic information, other than the FOMC meeting announcement, and then the Fed Chair Jerome Powell will be taking questions on Wednesday. So big day for the markets on Wednesday. As far as some of your earnings that are coming out for the week ahead, this courtesy of Earnings Whisper. We get Overstock. Overstock comes out with earnings Monday before the bell. OSTK. Lumber Liquidators, symbol LL there, will be coming out. Cannabis name after the close on Monday. TLRY will be reporting earnings. FedEx on Tuesday will be reporting earnings after the close. Micron Technology after the bell on Wednesday. Guess Jeans will be reporting. Williams Sonoma will be reporting. WSM there for the symbol. Canadian Solar, CSIQ, reporting earnings before the bell on Thursday. Nike reports after the bell on Thursday. NKE, Jinko Solar, JKS, symbol there for Friday before the bell. And Tiffany's rounding out the week. TIF, the symbol there for Friday before the bell. And this courtesy of Earnings with options activity that hit the tape on Friday, courtesy of the Trade Exchange. Flex, BKS, Applied Materials, MRVL, JD had unusual call activity. Amrin with unusual call activity. Mylan, unusual call activity. To the put side, we had NEO and ZAYO reporting unusual put activity there. Sage has their PDUFA date release. FDA decision in their NDA for Brexalone in the treatment of depression for Sage. That's set for this coming Tuesday. Jazz Pharmaceuticals also has their PDUFA date coming up for its patients with excessive sleepiness in adult patients with narcolepsy. So that'll be coming out on Wednesday. Also has a PDUFA date coming out set for this coming Friday. So that'll be await the FDA verdict on their diabetic drug for Lexicon Pharmaceuticals. So LXRX will be this coming Friday for the week ahead. So we'll wrap up this week's video of Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. We'll take a quick look at the XLF. As you can see, we are trying to mount an attack versus that 200 SMA here. Now we've had some pops above it and then failures. We are coming back up, and this is the banking sector, the financial ETF. That is the 200 SMA is holding us back right now. The KRE, also the regional financial ETF, still below the 200 SMA and struggling to get back above the 10 SMA, the light blue moving average that you see here on our charts. By the way, forgot to mention in on our worst stocks for the week, NIO, that stock down 19% for the week on NIO, coming up to that weekly support area around 550, 540 on NIO. So that should have been under one of our worst stocks for the week. All right, everybody, this is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com. Hope you're more ready for the week ahead than you were before. If this video has helped you out, please hit that thumbs up button on the bottom of the video. Please, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel to help us grow. And of course, any comments, any feedback, always greatly appreciated. And have a great week ahead. Trading will be out with another video, stocks to watch, later on the weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com.